right, good morning, everybody. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in all the world of YouTube. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this morning's Lions Talk Live. Here we are, just a couple days away from, guess what? Maybe the biggest game remaining on the Detroit Lions schedule, at least before the bye week, I could say. You know, you've got the Bucs coming in 3-1. If you look at Vegas lines, you can see that, hey, you know, it's something to be said that the Lions are favored by 3. But with that being said, it also means that the Bucs aren't too bad. Lions are going to go into a hostile environment and a warm environment and have to play a Bucs team that not only has basically a 14-day window to rest, recover, recuperate, but they're also going to have that much extra time to come in and prep for us. Being that as it may, hey, you got to face good teams at some point to try to figure out where you're at. Lions have played, obviously, Kansas City opening day. Had a great performance there before moving on and playing some other teams. You know, we obviously all went into the Green Bay game going, this is going to be a huge game, even though we made it look not so huge. Hey, it's the next game up, and what can we say here? You got Baker Mayfield coming out and trying to revitalize his career. And let's be fair, this kid he's done just that in the first 4 games of his season. He's come out, he's run, he's gunned, he's thrown it all around. He looks like Steamin' Willie Beeman out there. He's moving the ball and moving the Bucs offense. And, man, a big change of pace if you watch Bucs film this year versus last year. Brady, obviously, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is probably the quarterback everybody else is compared to. But don't take anything away from Baker Mayfield. On top of that, you got a Bucs D that have performers, playmakers, in all 3 levels of that D. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody on the report is out. It sounds like most of their players are going to play. Some of them might not be 100%, but let's also be fair. Who is 100% at this point in their career? Season. But before we get into that and the rest of today's topics, as you guys know, I got bills to pay, so sorry about this. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the state of Michigan, please consider giving me a call. I have over 30 years in real estate, either as a landlord, land developer, obviously a realtor, things of that sort. So, I've worked with commercial properties, homes, vacant land, farmland, fallout shelters, you name it over the years. It's a fun career and I've enjoyed it. But if you want somebody who's going to work on your behest, try to save you some money when you're purchasing or when you're selling, give me a call, 269-998-2384. And if you enjoy the content here on Lions Talk Live, please consider subscribing. Really trying to make a push to get up to 3,600 subs by kickoff Sunday, maybe even 37 if we get on a hot streak. All right, now let's get. I see we got a comment coming in, so let's go over. Good morning. How you guys doing? Michael, good to see you out there. Gary, good to see you too. So let's talk about all eyes on the Bucs. What would it mean for the Lions in this season, this regime, if we were to able to come in here and snag a win on the road in Tampa Bay? I mean, we talked a little bit with you guys. Everybody chimed into the comment section about after Tampa Bay, what sets up for when we play Baltimore. I think, like I said in the intro, I think the Bucs are probably the toughest team remaining until the bye. After that, we'll worry about that. The Bucs, they've got a D. They can move around in the pocket. Their offense hasn't been great. I was talking with Sarge, Tony Libretto yesterday, and he did point out, they've only got, I think it was 15 first downs in 4 games, a bunch of other stats he threw out there. There's a lot of truth to that. When they've scored on plays that, didn't take drives that didn't take up a lot of time. But I think we also agree some of the teams they faced might not be upper echelon. But with that also being said, outside the Philly game, they've beaten whoever they faced. So I do think this is going to be a test here. I think Vegas believes that as well. Although, again, you're giving the road team a 3-point favorite. You believe the road team's legit. So with that being said, I do think we're going to be in for it. I think our secondary especially is going to be tested. And I do think Baker Mayfield isn't the most mobile quarterback in the league anymore. Not that he ever was, but you get what I'm saying. He was pretty mobile. He still gets out and runs. He still is not afraid to get out there and then dive. He's putting his body on the line if you watch a lot of tape on him. All right, we got the comments coming in. Derwin, always a good morning to see you. Good morning. Did you see the special moment when D-Money was pushing for Craig Reynolds to stay in the game for his first touchdown, then ran over and hugged him? Yeah, and I'll say this to you, and Derwin and everybody else, you let me know your thoughts. Man, what can you say about a teammate? What can you say about the Detroit Lions in their locker room and how these guys play for each other when you see moments like that? You see one of your leaders out there doing that, that becomes infectious. Everybody starts pulling for each other. Everybody wants, to help each other feel good and find success. You get a locker room that's believing each other to that degree where it's almost like a family environment. Man, I think we go on the road against Tampa Bay and again against the Ravens. I think that just gives you a little bit extra when you're going out there, and especially if it ends up being a closer game, you're willing to do just a little bit more harm to your body. You're willing to claw just a little bit more with your fingernails for those extra yards. You're willing to do whatever it takes to win for that person next to you and that person next to you over here. So yeah, I think you're 100% right with your next one. This might be a special year. All right, feel like that Ravens team with Joe Flacco. That's not a bad comparison. Yeah, with the year that they caught fire in the playoffs. Yeah, you might be right there. Flacco, say what you want about that guy in his career, but you know what? When the big games came, he found a way to get it done. He might not have been the greatest quarterback, but he might have been one of the better ones during his time in the moment, and that's something. That's something to be said for that. All right, One Funky, good morning to you. Good morning to everybody else, too. J Mommy, did you see that the odds are betting towards the Lions winning the Super Bowl? I think with the start they've had, J Mommy, a lot of people are changing perspectives on the Lions. And you guys, we've all talked about this now for a bit. You look at how we're constructed. We're built to control both lines of scrimmage, the offense and defensive lines. And that travels, warm weather, cold weather, dome, and all those factors come in. Now you start adding some periphery components to it. You got a quarterback who's reinvented his career. And let's be fair, you can say he's top 10, top 5, whatever. He's playing great. How about that? He's playing at a very high level. You got some receivers that are emerging. D. Montgomery, D. Money, I call him. He's really impressing people. You got Laporta, and this is just the offense. Laporta's playing lights out. Now you're talking about the defense. The defense, we're getting more pressure with blitzing less. By the way, I do expect Tampa Bay is going to blitz us early and often. They've got to do something. I think they're aware of it. Watching their tapes, they're going to have to do something to try to slow down that Detroit Lions offense. So, like it or leave it, all the pressure this Sunday is going to be on Jared Goff's back. Because of those extra blitzers coming in, I'm guessing Tampa Bay is going to send 5 people, 6 people. They're going to try to eat up those running lanes en route to the quarterback. So we'll see. But anyways, getting back to your point, J Mommy, yeah, I think the Lions, if we go down, when we win this game Sunday, you're going to see those odds probably shoot up even more towards the Detroit Lions. Donnie Burke, good morning to you. Sunshine to you too, man. Derwin, chemistry looking good. Things are building. 100%, like you and I already talked about this morning, and everybody else. The Lions are legit, and they're building a culture that is going to bring other players here. Because look around the NFL, there ain't a whole lot of teams that have what we have, and that's, you're putting your body on the line every week and potentially your life. You want to be a part of an environment like that. No jealous people in the locker room. Yeah, 100%. They're pulling for each other. Everybody wants everybody to be successful, not just 1 or 2 people. That could be also a clue why a couple players haven't been targeted by the Lions. All right, Don, what do you got? This Tampa Bay game isn't going to be easy. I agree. Like some expect. Via Vita and company, no slouches. Yeah, and the good thing about their front line for them, not for us, is they are mobile. They can eat up space, and they do have a defense corner who loves to be aggressive. He's, I'm pretty sure they're saying their philosophy is, hey, you can beat us at what we do, but we're going to take you out of some of your elements. And that's, what a blitzing team does. They're going to take away percentages of your playbook. They're going to make you consistently make the right choice under duress with limited time to process. So we're going to get blitzed. We're going to get blitzed a lot. And really, the game is going to come down to Goff. If he can stay upright, if he can make the right read, the players, beating the blitz, do their intended routes and on time, you're going to force them out of that blitzing scheme, or you're just going to eat them up. So we'll see what happens. It also means you're going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, too, between our offense and their defense. That means that there's the potential for someone like Jameson Williams really break one if that can arise, because he does have the wheels. Same we could say with Khalif Raymond, etc. But you guys get the gist. All right, Cloud, what you got? Mayfield better than people give him credit for. Yeah, and he's on the revenge tour. He's out to prove to everybody across this league that, Cleveland kind of gave up on him for whatever reason. You'd have to ask Cleveland fans. I don't pay that much attention. I get, he tried to play through a blown out shoulder, and the team rewarded him for, instead of going on the IR, the team rewarded him by cutting him basically. And hey, it goes to show you it's a business, and don't let anybody tell you different. If they think you're hurt, which obviously the Browns thought he was permanently hurt, not going to heal up, they're going to get rid of you. It's just how things go, man. But I agree. He's having a pretty good year. Derwin, and we're starting to get players back. Yeah, it'll be interesting how many get back. It sounds like Big V is going to be back. Now, Jonah Jackson, man, if I'm Detroit, if you got questions about that ankle, you're probably saying, hey, we'll slide Glasgow over there, or I'm going to kill his name, Sorsdale, and let Jonah Jackson rest this week. Gibbs, I would say this. I'm leaning more towards Gibbs and Branch probably not playing Sunday. I hope I'm wrong, especially about Branch, but I'm guessing that those three are probably out this week. We'll see what happens, but I'm thinking, yeah, all three of them are going to be out. All right, one funky can't put us over the 49ers yet. No, I'm thinking not only would we have to keep winning, but in order to catch them, it doesn't mean we couldn't beat them on any given Sunday, but I think we're going to have to add some talent going into the trade deadline. Say what you want about the 49ers, but they're not just good at all three phases of the game. They're deep at all three phases of the game. And not that we're not deep, but I just don't think we have the same amount of depth and caliber as the 49ers. We'll see, though. Things set up right. We'll find out in the playoffs. All right, Don, what you got? All right, one funky. Nope, yeah. One funky. Tampa Bay blitzes like half the time. Yeah, I don't know their percentages offhand, but I don't think you're that far off. I was going to say 45% of the time, and quarterback pressure rates close to 50. So they're not just blitzing, they're getting to the quarterback. So, hey, you're going to have to trust that we do have one of the better offensive lines plus offensive line coaches. You got to believe that, Ben Johnson is aware of this too. Blitzing teams can cause you problems, but you can also cause them a lot of problems if you get the right setups against them. Gibbs would have been a nice one to have out there, and I hope I'm wrong that he'll be able to play, because him in open space one-on-one, like Jameson Williams, like St. Brown, like Porta, that's a lot of great favorable matchups for Detroit. Any one of those guys catches it, and they can cause significant issues for a defense that blitz with no secondary help. There's no over-the-top safeties. You're going to see a lot of man-to-man, maybe some zone blitzing, but I'm just going to guess that you probably don't want to play zone blitzing against Goff in Detroit. I think we would eat it up. Maybe I'm proven wrong on that, but that's my guess. All right, Derwin James, question of the day. If Hooker's healthy at the end of the year, in some of these blowouts, do we give him fourth quarters to get his feet wet? Derwin, if he's healthy and if he can go on the roster, if, say, to your point, we're up 20, and you can get him a drive or two at the end of the fourth. I don't know why you wouldn't. Teddy Bridgewater's here to back up Goff, not really for the long term. Plus, you're gonna have to make a choice on Goff. This is a guy for your future, I'm assuming. But if they see something with Hooker that you're like, man, we can save a bunch of money and get him out there, that's part of being a GM. And you don't always make the call that everybody likes, but it might be the call. If nothing else, too, let's just say we keep Goff. You might be getting him repetitions just to be the backup or for trade value. So I don't see a situation where getting him out there on the field and getting his feet wet, like you said, or experience would hurt the team. All right, Barry, what you got? All right, good morning. Tampa boxes 40% of the time should be a good test of their defense. Yeah, their defense is legit, and like I've been saying, I think we're going to have to beat the blitz. And Goff last year was, I want to say, top 1 or 2 in the league at beating the blitz. So it shouldn't be a problem. I guess it's just going to come down to how he's doing this year. And this year, he hasn't been as good, and there's probably multiple reasons for it. But he's going to have to beat it. Otherwise, we won't have a chance. All right. Don Bird, what you got? Tampa going to put in the spin cycle blitzing. I think we all agree on this. Us Laporta, St. Brown, except dump off passes galore. Yeah. And that's where, man, if you're looking for a game where Jameson Williams could get right, running a bunch of short crossers with him, St. Brown, Laporta, whoever, because again, I'm guessing they're going to have to be mostly man blitzes. This doesn't mean they won't mix in any kind of zone blitzes, but I just think against a veteran quarterback like Goff, that's probably not ideal. He should be able to pick it apart, assuming the line holds up in the blocking assignments. But then either way, man blitz, zone blitz, whatever, dropping linemen, whatever it is, you get one-on-one matchups with guys crossing, especially someone with a ton of speed, man, that can just cause all sorts of problems. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Blitzes, man. All right, Blue, what do you got? Any trade talk updates? Nothing for the last, whatever, it's been 2 days or so, I guess. At least nothing I've heard of. I get when Monday happened, you're making calls. If nothing else, just testing the markets on different guys. Doesn't mean you're going to trade for everybody, but you want to see what other teams' value propositions are on their guys. Hey, we see this person as, a third-round pick, fourth-round pick, whatever it is. And you want to establish those baselines. So if you've got to make a call, you're not starting from scratch. Somebody wanted a fourth-round pick for player A, and you're coming in saying, hey, I've been thinking about that. I think we'd be comfortable with a fifth-round pick, and it's just going to be a better opportunity for you to get something closer to what you want. So good question, man. Derwin, Baker looks good on tape. I've watched. He looks good, so motivated. We got to get pressure. Hopefully we can get a big game from Julian or Romeo. Yeah. I think you're right. Whoever the offside pass rusher is from Hutchinson is going to have to win those matchups a lot. And I think you're not going to see as much pressure or stunts. And maybe I'm wrong, but from our interior linemen, just because Mayfield does have some scrambling ability, and he will read and go up to the middle of the field pretty quickly. So you're going to be asking, it'd be my assumption, the middle of our defensive line to hold and push. You want to push them forward towards each other to eat up those lines. That also means your outside guys, you're going to probably have to see a few more spin moves out of them when they get outside leverage and spin inside, because the only way Mayfield can then go, sorry, I don't have a green board or anything to put this, but he's going to have to go out wide, and it just takes more time. It also allows somebody from the middle of the field to help cover a lot easier. So look for that early in the game. If he starts scrambling, watch our whoever interior rushers are. Are they looping? Are they stunting? Or are they just holding and pushing forward basically to eat up that scramble option for them? Now watch the outside rushers. Are they looping wide or taking a step or two outside and then spinning inside? Because that gives you a pretty good base there and only allows the quarterback to roll out wide. And again, that just takes up more time. It's a slower moving play and allows other people to recover. So good call on that. Wish they would blitz Campbell more on the other side of Hutchinson. And that's something they might. They've done it. They haven't done it a ton the last 2 weeks, but I think you're probably going to see more and more of it. Last week they blitzed Campbell more in delayed situations up the middle, and he got home. He just he didn't get sacks, but he did get in the quarterback's face. All right, Don Burr, what you got? No shade, but Baker is too erratic and out of control. He's definitely going to give our DBs chances. Walker has to catch the ball given the opportunity. Don, I would agree. I think Baker understands he pulls off a win here, this will be big for his career. I mean, you'll have nothing but a week's worth of talk on, ESPN or whoever else about how everybody was wrong on Mayfield. Boy, this team really, missed the boat on him, whatever. And his agent's going to try to capitalize on that. He's going to probably try to push for the Bucs to re-sign him sooner versus later, and then an ideal contract. But to also your point, he has been somebody who, at times, as you're noting, gambles with the ball, tries to hit that, narrow margin, that low percentage play that could be a home run play. So, and then also to your point with Walker, that's been my take on him for, a year or two now. He's a good player. He's the good player that almost gets the fumble, almost gets the pick, almost makes the big play. And that's the only thing that really separates him, I think, from being a very good player is he's nearly there. He just doesn't get it done. Hopefully he does this week, though. All right, Mr. Nico, good morning to you, man. Do you see Ben Johnson leaving Detroit for a head coaching opportunity or job next year? Yeah. and I would encourage him. If you've never coached, I'm going to tell you this: you might sign a contract, but by year number 2 or 3, if you're not looking for that next opportunity, you're doing a disservice for yourself. I've just worked for too many coaches over the years that they get the loyalty game going where hey this school, this team took a rider on me. They gave me my opportunity. I'm going to turn down these other opportunities that would have bought me another 4 or 5 years at a higher pay rate to go there. I'm going to stay here and show loyalty. And then I've seen it where as soon as they do that, the next year or 2 years later, they're out of work. So if you're not looking as a coach for your next contract, you're playing with fire. So I'm not saying they would do that to Ben Johnson, but let's also be real. If they gave him, say, like a 2 or 3 year contract extension here in Detroit, and next year, for whatever reason, the offense falls apart, they're looking to get rid of him. It's just, it's the nature of the beast, man. All right, moving on from that. Jay Mommy, the Lions will have Gardner Johnson back in about 4 games, and it looks like Pascal even sooner. I would say this, Gardner Johnson, we'll see, but I'm anticipating, we'll say early to mid-December he'll be back. And that still gets them a few games before the playoffs. Houston, yeah, I think to your point, Houston, Pascal's probably, we'll say 2 weeks out. Houston, gosh, I'm doing math in my head here. 4 weeks out, maybe less. So yeah, you're right. In the next coming weeks, especially with the bye coming up, you're going to see a lot of guys start coming back in, and that will really be a boost for the defense. All right, Wilson, Tampa Bay has a hard time against the run. Yeah, I expect Monty to have a great day. They want to blitz, they'll pay for it, and that's what it's going to come down to. If you can burn the blitz and force them out of it, you're going to put Tampa Bay in a bad situation because I don't think they're going to get nearly as much pressure with just their straight 4 rush as they would with the 5th and 6th man option rushes coming in or blitzes. So good point by you there. And what do you got? What are a few play calls are made for combating blitz happy defensive screen passes? Yeah. I think probably if you're talking about the run game, you're going to see a lot more trap plays or pull plays inside because you're going to catch people out of alignment, and you're going to now add extra blockers to one side of the field versus the other. The downside of that, if it's slow developing, that blitzer, if he's coming from the side you're pulling linemen from, he's got they have a free rush at the quarterback or running back. So they do have to be fast moving and developing. You probably got to get a little bit more of a chip block on the weak side or the side that you're pulling the players from. In the passing game, you pointed out, yeah, you can do screens, wide receiver screens, tight end screens, running back screens. You can do a lot of drag routes, quick hitters, delayed routes too. We'll use the example with Hutchinson last week. He gets a pick against, I'm going to guess it was a tight end offhand. I don't remember, but goes to block. So, and then slips the block. And that can be very effective against blitzes. Hutchinson, it's just, you don't often see somebody try to bull rush, get past somebody, realize it's a screen, and then pick off the pass. I mean, that was great awareness by Hutch, but you'll see a lot of things like that. And again, with some of the speed that we have at different spots, I would probably anticipate you'll see a ton of drag routes or quick out routes against coverage from some of our tight ends and wide receivers. But we'll see what they come up with. Brother Ken, hey, good morning to you. Been a minute. Mayfield's not making mistakes, is highly motivated, and his teammates love him. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, everybody in Tampa Bay is rallied around this kid. And I just don't think we want to play with fire here. If you can put some doubt in him early and get him rattled, get a couple hits on him, just get him out of his comfort zone. Because use the Green Bay game. First half, I mean, Jordan Love couldn't do anything right because we kept the heat on him and never allowed him to emotionally settle down. Second half, we backed off, and we've done that a few times. And you take some of that pressure off somebody. You allow them to kind of cool down internally. And, you get a couple of passes here, quick outs, easy dump off passes. You start getting into a rhythm. You start getting confidence. You stop feeling so much duress. And then you can start doing some things. And I just say, I'm not a fan of backing off. If you're going to beat me long or something like that, great, you're going to do it. But you get an opportunity to get up on Mayfield. You get an opportunity to put him into the ground. You keep doing it. The fourth quarter, you're up 30. Fine, we'll back off then and just play some soft zone coverage, make you keep dumping it underneath to eat up the clock. But, man, that's one thing I would say. As great a job as I think the defense has done in the last 15 games of improving, that's one area I think they still struggle in. It's backing off a little too soon because, man, you're playing with fire, in my opinion. All right, sorry about that. One funky. Want to see Hooker week 18? Might happen, man. Mainly because it means that we have our playoff spot locked up and we get to see if the kid has what it takes. Yeah, and nothing else. You got to get him reps. You got to see what you got before you make any kind of determinations on what to do with him in the offseason. So you're 100%. And I do think there's some real possibility going into that trade deadline. Minnesota loses another week or two, you might see them selling off some parts. Chicago has reason to play. You got people trying to save jobs over there. Plus, you got a quarterback who's trying to prove to everybody that, hey, you don't draft another guy. I am the guy. And the last couple of weeks, he's done a good job of that. Green Bay, if I'm Jordan Love right now, man, I'm doing everything I can to get wins or great stats because he's in the same boat. That team's got to make a choice at the end of the year. Have we seen enough out of Jordan Love, this season in particular to keep him? Or are we looking to go in another direction? So, but my point being that I think we get to the first time we play Minnesota, there's a real possibility we have the North wrapped up. And then we got, 3 games left? You're playing for seeding at that point. All right. Maya, what do you got? Lots riding on the O-line? Yeah, 100%. Our O-line, is going to have to come ready to play. What's your way too early draft predictions, Clown? Which position do you think we need most? Personally, I'm looking at the trenches. I would agree with you. You're going to have to make a choice on Jonah Jackson, maybe even Decker, Ragnow, maybe to a lesser degree. But if nothing else, just on the offensive side, you're going to have to identify what you want to do with those guys. You'd like to pay everybody, like to keep everybody, but that's also not a possibility if you're going to also pay some of those defensive guys. So probably there in the defensive line still. Secondary, you're probably going to have to add at least 1 or 2 corners or position there. But yeah, that would be my way too early prediction. We'll see what happens. All right. Again, what do you got? To Ananam, a skilled play action passer can pick apart a blitzing defense. Yeah. And we're going to, to your point, Brother Ken, Goff is incredibly good at that. So we could see a whole lot of that early and often. They're just going to have to really talk. And I get they're already doing this. They're going to have to talk about blocking assignments and, things like that. And they've identified this stuff. It's going to come down to how successful we are at maintaining blocking integrity. We do that, Goff's going to have some time on play action to hit home. All right. So let's see. Wilson, if they rest Goff, Bridgewater will come in. One funky Lion fan. Probably, but we'll see. Could the Lions try to sneak in Hooker for a game, or not a game, but a quarter or a drive or two, something like that. All right, let's keep going here. Wilson, why would it be a mistake? Okay, you guys are talking about Bridgewater and stuff. I'll let you guys handle that one in the comment section. Sorry about that. Jay Mommy, that will probably be Campbell keeping an eye on Mayfield. Could be. I mean, if him or Branch are in, I think Branch would probably get first responsibilities at maintaining Mayfield. So he'll do some coverage, especially if they play any kind of zone assignments, and then look for, Mayfield breaking assignment or breaking out of the pocket. You could see someone like, Rodrigo would be pretty good, I would think, at that position. Anzalone, I think he's not bad. I think there's better options if you're asking somebody to basically be a spy or, bump coverage and then spy. So we'll see. All right. Lions are definitely making a lot of people look like the fools. Yeah. What Campbell Company, Aaron Glenn, let's be honest. Campbell's had his distractors. Glenn's had his detractors, excuse me. But it is what it is. People are always going to come at you. You guys know that in life, and it's even worse in coaching. Let me tell you, everybody's the best coach in the stands or on the couch. Everybody can tell you what should have happened, what they would have done. But when you get something right, that's what I would have done. It's just part of the world of coaching. But the Lions and what they've done in basically a season and a half, 2 years, that's impressive. Very few franchises in any sport see that significant a turnaround. And there's a lot of reasons why, but the number one reason is belief in your coach and the culture they're trying to install. And then the second would be what the general manager and the scouting department, don't forget those guys, have done as far as identifying talent. Because let's be fair, a lot of this talent are players other teams passed on once, twice, sometimes 5 times. You redid St. Brown's draft. Do you think he really lasts till the middle rounds? Probably not. So great, give those guys a lot of props, and they don't hardly ever get talked about. Eric, what do you got? Need to get a shutdown corner and another pass rusher opposite Hutch. I would agree. Those would be areas I would target. So, all right, Derwin, yeah, Trace Walker dropped about 4 picks. Yeah, and guy's a great teammate. He gets around. He motors. He's just, again, he's somebody that nearly gets the pick, nearly makes the hit that causes the fumble. I mean, you could have worse things in life. He's just, until that changes with him, he's not a playmaker. He's a player. So, all right, J. Mommy. Don't know if the Lions would have a spot on the active list for Hooker at this time. Yeah, you're right. You'd have to put somebody down to bring him up. All right, Michael, what you got? Lions tight ends will be huge against blitz. They're going to have to be, because my guess is you will see probably 30-40% of the snaps, 2 tight end formations with Brock Wright, and then obviously Laporta. Some of them are going to be delayed routes where they block, chip, and then release, and those can be highly effective. It'll be interesting to see what Ben Johnson does there, but I'll be watching. As far as the offense, you guys want to know what I'll watch right off the bat? I'll watch that offensive line and the tight ends. Where are they blocking and where are they releasing rushers? My anticipation is the first 3 guys in the middle, the center and 2 guards, they're going to be block forward technique and block out wide. So forcing linemen to go just, it may not sound like much, but it's an extra step or 2 slows you down. I want to see I'm anticipating, I should say, from the tackles, they're going to block forward and in, try to get the interior rushers and the exterior rushers to bump into each other, basically using your defensive linemen to block each other. That would be my guess without watching a bunch of tape on it. So we'll see what happens out there. Phil, I like the early show too, because as soon as this is over, you guys probably all know where I'm going. I'm going to get that morning Mountain Dew. So, all right, J. Mommy, injuries happen. Who knows? Yep. All right. St. Brown, Phil, what do you got? St. Brown may have a hernia requiring surgery. It's very painful to even breathe. Yeah, and if that is the case, he's going to be out for a while. But he's out. Somebody else has got to step up. JP, good morning to you too. Always good to see you in the chat. Good to see all you guys. I mean, really, let's be honest. You guys, this is all part of our morning routines now. I mean, we're all in here. So we're going to have to talk about what to talk about in the off season. So we'll find something. Don, Phil, where do you get that info from? Who knows? But if it is an abdomen injury, there's a possibility of it for sure. Put a little duct tape on it, maybe. Maybe that'll help. J. Mommy, if there are injuries that would be for the position, okay. Insider report, Phil says. So I haven't heard anything about that, Phil, but I'll make a call or 2 today and see what happens. Okay, let's see. Wilson, I'm a Hall of Fame couch GM. Yeah, there you go. I like that. I'm gonna, Wilson, I might have to steal that and use that on one of the broadcasts. Hall of Famer from the couch on the GM. Yep, I'm gonna take that. One of the beat reporters. Okay, we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know. Pam, what do you got? Good morning, Dan. Watch you and enjoy your every day. Thank you for that. What's the latest on Broderick Martin? How serious was Bam's shoulder injury? Martin, I think, Pam, I think what's the latest on Broderick Martin? I just think he's developing, and it's nothing against him. It's just where he came from. He's got all the physical traits. I do think we're going to see him on the roster before, say, like the middle of the season, the latter part of the season. But what I do think is the tough part is you look at the guys playing in front of them. I just think they're playing at a higher level. So let's go back to, let's say, St. Brown's draft class. You had a ton of rookies come into meaningful playing time or even starting that year and then the last year. Why? Because there's just no talent in front of them. They're already better than the NFL players out there. In this year's draft class, I think it's the first time we're really starting to see the fact that we're starting to get deep everywhere. And I've talked about with Gibbs and Campbell and now with Broderick Martin. It's not that these guys aren't good. It's not that they weren't worthy of being drafted. This is just my opinion here. It's Gibbs better than Montgomery? is Campbell better than Burns, Anzalone? And I think he's probably better than Rodrigo already, just from on watching him on the field standpoint and his maturity already. But the problem also becomes when I'm just going to use Campbell as an example. When they drafted Campbell, I think that lit a fire under Anceloni and Barnes because they knew they're about ready to get replaced. So what do they do in the offseason? They stepped their games up. Drafting him raised their levels, and the team benefits from it. I don't think that's quite the same situation with Gibbs and Montgomery. Montgomery's he's playing at a high level. With Martin, I do think that's probably a little bit of truth too, that Benito Jones, Bugs, other players, McNeil, guys are real aware in that locker room. When you draft somebody at my position, you're kind of sending a message that you're making an indictment about me. So it's a job, and it's a great job for players if you can hold on to those jobs. And the longer you can hold them, the more security you have for your future. So, Bam, you got a great question there. I'm not going to lie. That's a great one. As far as Bam's shoulder, I don't think he's playing this week, maybe next week. My guess is he probably popped that thing out pretty good and probably tore some ligaments. I don't have anything official on that, but that's my guess. The way the trainer was looking at it, holding it, especially he was walking off, he did some legit damage to it. So that, I guess I could just say that. Mr. Nico, as quickly as the channel grows, do you have any unique plans for certain milestones? I can see the channel reaching 100K subscribers at the end of the season, at least. I don't know. You guys help me out, man, because I'm just, like I said, I'm doing this for fun because I love it and enjoy it. If you guys think there's something needs to be done, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. 100K. Let's set up a meet and greet, or maybe a tailgate at Ford Field. Maybe pick a game and have everybody come on out. We'll set something up there, and man, I know I can do some cooking. Everybody can do some cooking. You guys think that's a good idea, or if you got other thoughts, let me know. If everybody's willing to come down to maybe like Kalamazoo, we could I do a couple live broadcasts, as you guys know, especially during the draft time, where we do live casts from a buddy of mine's liquor store. If you guys drink, we could probably have some of the the distributors come in and offer some samples and stuff like that. But the only problem I have with that is people drive and then drink. Yeah, I don't know if I want to mess with that, but we'll figure something out that. But if you guys got ideas, let me know. Underman, what do you got? We need to get 100 from the Vikings. They gotta be selling at this point, and I think you're pretty close. You look around in the next week and a half, you're gonna see some teams. They lose this weekend, and they have reasonable expectations to lose next weekend. You'll probably start seeing some fire sales. And I'm gonna say this: Denver is probably right there. I get you got the coach who wants to rebuild in his image, and that means you got to get rid of players. But you also have to get draft capital. They gave up a lot for Russell Wilson, so it means their draft capital is a little shot. So they'd be one of the teams. Your point, I think the Vikings will too. There'll be a few teams that probably say, hey, we're going to get rid of some people. Brother Ken, be thankful you're not here in Denver. The Broncos are a mess times 10. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're just, for whatever reason, it looked good on paper 2 seasons ago, bringing in Russell Wilson and other players. It hasn't gone well. Tom Burr, hit that like button. I have no idea where it's at on this particular streaming service. I can't see it here. So if you guys have a free second, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. All right. Phil, what do you got? Feels so bad for CJ and Mosley. They are ever play for the Lions. CJ's going to be back, I'm thinking, unless there's some sort of setback. I'm thinking he'll be back the middle of December. Mosley, on the other hand, boy, he's going to really have to take, in my opinion, a pay cut wherever he's at next year, Detroit or whoever, because you've got 2 straight seasons with torn ACLs. You're not reliable. And, if you're an NFL fan, you already know your number one ability is your availability. So he hasn't been available in a while. All right, Michael, what do you got? Good morning, all. One pride, 100%. Don't feel bad, Phil. At least they're getting a ring. Get a ring. That's right. Good morning, Michael. All right, Willard, what do you got? Lions have the 31st weakest schedule. Enjoy it while we got it, because next year it's going up. And it doesn't mean you can't win. Teams change every year. one thing we can say is we can look at our division and say where are these teams going to be a year from now. Things will change with free agency, draft picks, etc. But it looks like this year and next year, you're going to see a lot of flux in the NFC North. And the Lions, if they keep drafting well, maintaining, re-signing a few players here and there, they're probably going to do pretty well. Jay Mommy about Evans. I know he's still dealing with a hamstring, but he's also had 2 weeks basically to try to heal it. I think the thing for Tampa Bay, we all talked about this yesterday. I think Tampa Bay is in a real spot here. You want to win this game. I know Baker Mayfield, the coaches, everybody does, but they also have to say, is it in our best interest to sit someone like Mike Evans or whatever this week? Because next week is a division interdivisional game, and I don't know their schedule after that week, but you've got to make your choices. What's more important, a conference game against Detroit or a division game against whoever? I think they're playing Atlanta. Don't hold me to that. And that's what it comes down to, because if Mike Williams comes out against us wanting to play somewhere in the second quarter, he re-injures that where now he can't play against Atlanta or whoever it is, that's not good for that team. When people say weak schedule, it cracks me up. In the NFL, there isn't any easy games, all premium athletes. I agree. So let's see what happens. Kevin B, tailgate is a great idea. Yeah, I think that might be something for, if you go to Ford Field, even if you don't go in, you can still tailgate. So let's see if I can set that up. 10,000 subscribers. You guys help me out. We'll set up the tailgate. How about that? I'll bring the Mountain Dew. All right. Wilson, I'll fly into Michigan to tailgate with y'all. All right. We'll hold you to that, man. We'll hold you to that. Mile Marker, what do we got? Hey, chat, maybe if you haven't already, think about clicking like and also share and copy. Hey, thanks for that, man. You don't have to send it, but it still counts. Good for the channel. Yeah, 100%. Those things all help from what I'm told. So Micro might give him a lot of props and credit. When I talked about getting into YouTube, he talked to me about it and how to do it. I've just been a reporter forever, so I didn't really mess with YouTube, but it's been fun. I enjoy and look forward to these mornings with you guys. So, Phil, come on down from Traverse City for a tailgate. All right, Phil, we'll hold you. You probably can GPS it, but what's the drive time on that if you come down from Traverse City to Detroit? 4 hours? I don't know. I'm guessing. So, Mile Marker. Hey, Phil, wouldn't it be nice to have a North meetup? Get him to come up here too. Just so you guys know, I do go up to Detour Village in the UP a couple times a year. Got some friends of mine who are retired from the military that live up there. And go up there and do a little fishing and hanging out, especially on the 4th of July. Just FYI. All right. Is Ford Field turf hurting players? And in my opinion, all of them do. All turfs do. Could it happen where the day comes where the NFL mandates grass fields? Probably, but we'll see. All right. It would be awesome. 99 cents. All right. Let's see. We're just shy of 44 minutes into this. I think the Mountain Dew's starting to call me because, I can feel my brain waving down a little bit, and I got to get ready for work anyway. So if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you like it. If you guys, you already know if there's any kind of breaking news or I get any tidbits, I'll throw it at you guys as quick as I can today. But otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care. Good morning, everybody.